Morning everybody, it's Robert, Pixelate. So this morning, it's about 3:30 a.m. and I'm heading out now. We're gonna go to one of my favorite places I like to hike. I try to get there by sunrise. So I should get there somewhere around 4:30, 5 o'clock. I believe sunrise is 6:15. I should have left about an hour ago, but you know, I had a hard enough time getting out of bed. Anyways, we're gonna go there, do a little hiking, and we're gonna work on some composition today. Perfect morning for it. It's gonna be a great day. It's supposed to be pretty clear. Here at the Oregon coast, it's a little cloudy most of the time anyways, but here we go. See you when we get there. All right, we're here. Sweet Creek Falls Trail in Mapleton, Oregon. It's a nice brisk morning. It's probably about 42 degrees out. We're gonna do a little hiking in. The trail is a total of about 1.5 miles in. As you can hear the water in the background, you know, it's just waterfall after waterfall. You know, they're small to medium-sized waterfalls, but it's a beautiful hike. It's a beautiful trail. We're gonna work on a little composition, pick 2 or 3 spots, and go from there. Here we go. So this is going to be this will be the first spot down below we'll check out, and see if we can line up. Light's still not up very much, but it'll be good. It was a little foggy this morning. I waited a little bit. Got here about, I don't know, 5:30. Waited about 6. It's about 6 a.m. now. Waited till the fog got out of here so we can actually see some of this beauty. All right, let's get down there. All right, so before I switch this camera to a wider view, I'm going to be using my Sony A7R4 today and my Sony 16-35 f4 PZ by Power Zoom G lens. I'll show you in a second. It's a nice landscape lens, all around lens. So, my Power Zoom. Usually it's good for video and stuff, but it's a kind of nice smooth zoom on it, so I really like this camera. I'm going to do everything handheld since I got you up on the tripod right now. But normally I shoot right about here. I'll show you what it looks like. Normally I get, you know, a nice little view like this, but I'm kind of bored with this composition because I don't get enough of the pool. The bottom of the fall. You know, you can see that's got a nice pool there. So I'm going to try to get up there a little bit. We'll see what happens. I'm going to try to get in here a little bit. Alright, so what I was trying to do is create a nice picture with foreground, with the midground, and some background. I'm trying to give it some depth. A little foreground is nice. Gives you that depth, that perspective. Obviously my main focus is the falls. And then including some nice trees. Trying to get some angles incorporated though. It's important to remember in composition, it's not just rule of thirds. Knowing the rule of thirds is great, but it's not always practical. So knowing the rules and knowing when to break the rules is important. But trying to find some angles, some leading lines, some triangles, it's always important when dealing with composition. So we're going to deal with some pictures, some lining up some nice pictures, go to a couple spots, and then we'll end up going back to my studio, my house, and fiddling with them a little bit in post. That way I can show you a little bit when I'm talking about the composition. Some will work, some won't. But the great thing is that we're out here. It's a beautiful morning. How can we go wrong? And enjoy it. It's just beautiful. Take it in. Alright, so we've got all these little pockets in here. I came down to the second spot. It's got all these nice little waterfall pockets and these little swimming pools. Oh, sorry, my face is a little numb. It's a little chilly out. These little swimming pools at the base of them. So in the summer when it's hot, there'll be people here in these little pools swimming, kids, families. It's amazing. This place is, it's amazing. There's nothing else to say about it. Check this out. You're gonna love it. Got all these pools here. And some of them get 2-3 feet deep. This one might be a little deeper, 3-4 feet deep, but then you've got these nice little pockets here. And this is what I'm gonna start shooting right here. I'm just trying to figure out where to get the best angle. And you can see this, it's just little shelf after shelf after shelf of these little falls that are maybe 3 feet high. This one here is probably, might be 7-8 feet tall. You can take that in perspective. I think I'm gonna try from right on this rock if I can get to it. I don't want to be stupid though. I'm out here all by myself. It's cold, it's early. You know, to me, the most important thing about doing this hiking, this shooting, besides the love of photography and nature, it's being safe. Don't do anything to put yourself at risk. It's not worth it. So, I'm going to take a couple shots, and then we'll move on to the next spot. Again, once we get these shots later on, we'll go back to the house and see what we got. All right, see you soon. There's another little fall here, maybe 3 feet, 2.5, 3 feet tall. I love shooting. It's so smooth, it's like butter. Long exposure, I like to do a little long exposure on it. I don't have my other tripod with me, so I'm just gonna take a little quick pic, nothing big. I've got plenty of them, I just love it though. Something about that, the fall behind it, you know, maybe 6-7 feet, drops down in this gorgeous pool. The water out here is crystal clear, and because it's so cold from this snow melt, still early enough, late in the spring, early enough in the summer to where the water is still blue. So it's just something magical about it. So I'm just going to take a quick pic and we'll move on to the third spot, and we'll get out of here. Alright, this is the last spot that we'll stop today. This is kind of my happy little spot here, my happy little place. It's a double shelf. Each fall is about 4 feet, give or take. But it's just levels off to this great area just to sit in and relax in, and maybe bring a lawn chair or something. It's only maybe 6 inches deep, but in the summer this is the spot, I'm thinking anyways. But this is beautiful. The trees here are covered in moss and grasses, and this place is just amazing. But let's take these shots and see what we get. Find out some good spots. I'm gonna take a minute to take in the view and see where we should shoot from. Normally I shoot from this, you know, get really close and try to get the droplets froze, you know, bump my shutter speed up really fast and try to get, you know, try to freeze the water droplets coming down the fall. But if I can find a way across, let me grab this. If I can find a way across over there, I would love to shoot across the angle. But these rocks, they're covered in moss, so they're really slippery. So I don't have my muck boots with me, so I'm not going to truck across that. So it might just be safer for me just to stand here and take a couple shots up on the shelf. But let's take it in. The water is a little loud here, and I'm using a GoPro to film this, so the quality is probably not the best audio-wise. So I might mute some of this later on and use my Rode mic system to put some new audio in, but we'll see how it goes. We'll take a couple shots and then we can go. Really appreciate you being out here with us today, with me. I really appreciate you being out here with me today. I'd love to share this with everybody. This place is just amazing. Now that we're back at the house, we can check out some of these pictures, see how they came out. So this is actually the third picture that we took. This is the picture that to me, came out the best because the light was able to peek through here, come through the trees into the background. It's just starting to peek through the sunrise. It was still fairly early, so. But as for composition, we're talking leading lines, angles. So right here, got a nice triangle, right? If I had some waders or my muck boots on, I could have got into the water a little bit and come over, you know, maybe back here a little bit and got a little better of an angle, but because of the way it's lined up, I was fairly happy with this picture. I probably could adjust my shutter speed a little faster to get the water a little more still, but live and learn. And you know, I was dealing with light too, so ultimately I could have strobed it or added some effects in there, and you know, could have dealt with that a little bit, but it's turned out fairly good. So again, we got the water pool here, right? And we've got the waterfall dead center. Usually I don't like to set dead center, but that was my option at the time. And so we've got these lines that come up, these nice triangles. We've got another triangle here. We've got some rocks over here that give us some nice shape. So for the foreground I was using the water because I like the reflection on the water here of the waterfall. Comes down here and you got some shimmer, some gold coming off the leaves from the sun. You get some more shapes over here, keep it interesting. You know, you got these two sections of trees over here that are, the trees are nice. They're mossy, covered in grass. They're really nice, real interesting looking. And then as it peeks through, you know, that's where the sun's popping through, your little sky. So it came out fairly nice. I didn't do any editing to these. The only thing I did to these three pictures is adjust the exposure a little bit. But I didn't do any dodge and burning or color grading or anything like that. So you could definitely take them a little further. Some nice little trees in here. So when you get to see this picture, I know it's a little hard on YouTube. You're probably watching it on your phone, so it's hard to see the detail in it. But this print is 13 by 19. That's the size of these prints. I printed them off my Canon Pixma Pro 100. So the largest paper I can get in there is 13 by 19. So that's what we're dealing with here. It gives us a little. It's bigger than an 8 by 10, so we can review it a little easier. You know, some nice detail in here. Normally you can come in here and post and maybe lighten up some of these branches to bring a little more detail in, but as for composition, I think this one it's pretty well done. Again, the little post, you can really make it pop, bring in some light through here. But we've got some nice shapes. We've got a nice little waterfalls, probably, I don't know, 7-8 feet. A nice little waterfall that draws your eye up, and then because of the sun peeking through up here, you know, it allows your eyes to move straight up from the reflection right up into the trees. So you've got, you know, technically speaking, I'm guessing leading line straight up the middle isn't the best. You know, usually you might have a river or something coming off from the side and up and weaving through, meandering, but this one works pretty good. Again, you can always improve, but for the most part, that's what I was looking for. I was looking for some nice shapes and a way to draw my eye in. Let's move on to the next one. Let me adjust this a little bit. Alright, this I believe is the first one I took, maybe. Still a little dark. The sun's just coming up. This is probably 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. The sun's not fully up through the trees, but it's got some nice light. Again, no editing on this, just outside of fixing the exposure a little bit. It was a little dark. So, as for composition, you know, again, if I was over this direction quite a bit more, if I was able to get into the water, it was a little deep. The pool there was probably, I don't know, 3-4 feet deep, but if I had some nice waders, I could have got in there really nice and shot straight up. Because you can't see it from here, but there's another fall that's right in here, and over from this angle over here you can get a better view of it. So I would have been able to follow it straight up, and that would have given me a better leading line. But what I do like about this picture is you got the nice pool here for the foreground, and then you've got this nice pool here, waterfall, nice buttery waterfall coming up to it, and it's probably only like 3 feet. This waterfall is probably only like 3 feet tall, but due to the rocks behind it, nice smooth rocks, it's almost like it's got another waterfall right behind it. So it's a really cool spot. And you got this nice pool here, and then you've got this other little fall. It's probably 4 feet, 5 feet that comes up. And then ultimately there's another pool up here. But what I like this tree right here. Now again, I can do some dodging and burning to really pop this tree out, bring some color into it, darken this background a little bit just to make that tree pop a little bit more. Maybe add in some, you know, maybe warm in this area in here just to give the picture a little pop. You know, when you take a picture, it's always different than what you see with your eyes or what you're imagining. So you really, especially shooting in RAW, you really have to kind of remember what you're seeing. Maybe even jot down some notes or something, but you know, really remember what you're seeing so you can bring your picture back to life. But this is a really nice picture. Again, I should have jumped the shutter speed up a little bit. I believe this one was taken at maybe 1/250, 1/320, something like that, somewhere around there. I could have brought it up to 1/800 and probably froze the water a lot better. But it's nice. It's got a really nice wash down here that's real clean. I mean, this water is so clean, so you could see with all the wash in here, the white, it's just super clean. So, you know, you got some nice triangles over here, you got some nice angles in here, you got this rock over here that gives you a nice angle, and then as it comes up, you know, you got another triangle in here. You're always looking for shapes, and it kind of leads you to this tree. That's why this waterfall coming up, and it leads you to this tree. So the emphasis, if I was to edit this a little better, would be, well, ultimately I'd probably retake this picture again to make sure that it's sharp all the way through. For the most part, it's well. All the edges seem to be fairly sharp. It's just right in here. I think my focus point was somewhere around here. I should have been a little more focused on this tree, and maybe close down my aperture a little bit, maybe f9, somewhere around there. I think because of the light, I was shooting at somewhere around 6.1, maybe even 5.6. The tree, this is all nice and focused. It's just right when you get up into here. But again, live and learn. So you got some nice leading lines that run up. Again, if I was over here a little bit, my leading line would go even further. But I got some nice angles. Got some nice angles here, and it leads right up to this tree. So there's a little, you know, it's a nice composition. Again, you can always do better. Work on it a little better. Retake it a couple times. That's why I like going back to the same spot over and over again, because sometimes I will take a picture that I haven't taken before and I really fall in love with that spot, and I'll go back to that spot and shoot it 3, 4, 5 times, or at least until I get it right, or to where I'm happy with it. sometimes all it takes is just moving over a couple feet and the composition improves dramatically and you get a really nice pop. But all in all, it's a good picture. Alright, let's move on to the third one. This is the final picture we'll review today. Let me zoom back in on this to get a little closer. I apologize about this little reflection in here. It's from my overhead lights. Unfortunately, where I work right now is in my dining room, and I don't have a lot of options right now. So, okay. So this picture, I brought the. You know what? The first one that I showed you was my second shot. The last one was the first shot. This was the third shot. This was the final shot. The sun was up a little bit more, and I was able to jump my shutter speed up quite a bit. I think I shot this at 1/1000th, maybe even over 1250. So I was able to really freeze the water coming off these rocks. I like the angles on this. There's quite a bit of, it's not really dead space because it's got a lot of trees and activity in there. Nice group of trees, mossy trees right in here. But there's kind of a spot right in here that I'm just not too happy with. But all in all, it's a good picture. It's nothing that I would put on a portfolio or anything like that or try to sell as a print, but for these purposes it's nice. So you've got this nice angle here, this triangle. You've got these triangles right in here, as well as one that comes up and cuts through here. And you've got more little shelves, rock shelves here. So you've got quite a bit of texture. There's another little triangle right in here. You got a lot of texture in this pictures, which is nice. And for the most part, it's pretty sharp. There's a little area in here I could have gotten a little better. I think my aperture on this was fine. I think I was somewhere around f8. I just think maybe I could have jumped the shutters because of the movement. I mean, the water was moving fairly quickly. So I think if I would have jumped my shutter speed up just a little bit more, even if I had to bump my ISO because of the water and the texture of the rock, I think I would have been okay with a little higher of an ISO. I don't think you would have noticed any grain. But all in all, it's a nice picture. I chose this over than a lower shutter speed because I didn't want the milky look. Then you wouldn't be able to see any of the texture of the rocks. You wouldn't be able to see any of the rocks behind the water. If you look really closely, you can see the layers of the rocks behind this water, which is cool. If I would have been able to get a little more light in there, it would have really made the picture, because I think that would have been a lot more interesting, being able to see the layers of the rocks behind there. The rocks are really pretty. They're covered in moss, but they got this really reddish brown tone to them. But with the moss and everything, the greens just pop everywhere. And I didn't, again with this one, the only thing that was adjusted was the exposure. I didn't want to mess with the saturation or anything yet, because usually when I jump with the saturation, the greens get too green, and then you're fiddling with bringing the green down, and then now you've got a big yellow look. And with these trees, there's already enough yellow in it in those woods there. So I didn't want it looking super yellow. I like the green against the white. To me, this is personal preference, but the white with the green, it's a really nice contrast. Could we have done something a little better, adjusted the camera, the angles a little better? Probably. Again, if you can get into the water and move around, you know, over on this side here, most of the falls from the walkway are going this way. So a lot of the good angles are going to be way over here, but the trail is on this side, and you have to truck through all the water. And it was pretty fast moving and super cold that morning. The water was probably in the mid-30s. So it's not like I'm going to throw on sandals or water shoes and just walk through it. And you need some either muck boots or some waders or something to get through it to where you can stay safe too. The rocks are super slippery with all the moss, so you got to be safe about that as well. But all in all, it's a nice picture. Just making sure that I had some kind of leading line, and you know, it could just be the leading line could be this, you know, this nice contrasty line with the white to the green. That could have been my leading line. Again, I'm not too happy about this area in here. There's not a whole lot going on. It'd have been nice if I had some better trees in here, a little more activity, or even maybe somebody standing over here to give it a little perspective. I mean, looks like some dead tree area in here, but you know, something in there would have been really nice. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. But all in all, it's got a lot of good angles, got good lines, it's got a really nice texture to the water coming down. Similar to the last one, this isn't something I'm going to put on my portfolio, but you know, it's something to take, to enjoy, get out there and enjoy it, and to learn from it. If you have any questions, go ahead and just leave me a message down below, or you can reach me out on Instagram at Pixelate. You can also search Robert Hartman Photography.